welcome to Education Online Program. This is Biology lesson for Senior 1, and I'm teacher Kenye George Julius taking you through it. Now, today we'll be looking at, we'll first begin with the introduction to biology for the Senior 1 class. That is introduction to biology. Now, in introduction to biology, we'll begin with the origin of this term biology. Now, the word biology, or the term biology, originated from two Latin words. The term biology is derived from two Latin words. Two Latin words. One of the words is bios, meaning life, and then the second word is logos, meaning studies. Therefore, literally, when you combine the two words, life and study, biology becomes the study of life. Therefore, biology is the study of life. And now when you look at this definition, biology is the study of life. Here we study life in sciences. That is why in most cases we have a perfect definition for biology as the scientific study of life. So because we study life in science, then biology is defined as the scientific study of life. Therefore, this is the common definition that we use for defining biology. We define biology as the scientific study of life. Otherwise, it originates from two Latin words. We have bios, that means life, and then logos, meaning study. So when you put life and study together, then biology becomes the study of life. And then we study life in science. Then we define biology finally as the scientific study of life. Now, having looked at the definition of biology being the scientific study of life, now let's look at the branches of biology. Let's look at the main branches of biology. So we have two main branches of biology. There are two main branches of biology. There are two main branches of biology. One is called botany. Now, botany is defined as, which which is the study of plants. So in the first branch, that is botany, we study only plants. Botany is the study of plants. Then the second branch is zoology. Now zoology, this is the study of animals. So in zoology, we study animals. So these are the main branches of biology. We have botany, which is the study of plants, and then the second one is zoology, which is the study of animals. So all living things, at the beginning, we are put into this main group of studies. We have botany, we have them as plants, and then others as animals. Now when we study the plants, then in biology, we study a branch of biology called botany. And then when we study animals, then in biology, we study a branch of biology that is called zoology. Now, there will be other branches of biology that we will look at them. Now, those other branches of biology were now derived from the two main branches. Botany has been broken down into some other branches, and then zoology also has been broken down into some other branches. So now let's look at other branches of biology. These are now the smaller branches of biology. So brings us to other branches of biology. Now, the other branches of biology have been grouped into two main classes or two main groups. One of the groups is branches of biology on the basis of subject matter, and then the second one will be branches of biology on the basis of group of organisms under studies. So these other branches are being the other branches of biology are grouped into two main areas of studies. They are grouped into two main areas of studies. Now, let's look at these two main areas of studies here. I've already mentioned the two main areas of studies, where we have one of the areas of studies is when we are looking at branches of biology on the basis of subject matter, and then the second one will be branches of biology on the basis of group of organisms under studies. So we begin with the first one, that is branches of biology on the basis of subject matter. Now in this we have the following branches. We begin with number one, that is microbiology. Now, in this, we are going to be defining all these other branches of biology on the basis of subject matter. Now, the word micro means tiny or very small living organism. Then we have biology, that is the studies of those particular living organisms that are very tiny. So when we say microbiology, now this is a branch of biology which deals with the study of living microorganisms. So microbiology becomes a branch of biology which deals with the study of living microorganisms. Now, the second branch under the branches of biology on the basis of subject matter is anatomy. Number 2, we have anatomy. Now, we define anatomy as it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of the forms and structures of living things. Then anatomy here becomes the branch of biology which deals with the studies of the forms and the structures of living organisms. Now, under anatomy is also being divided into two. Anatomy is being divided into two. Let's look at the two divisions of anatomy. It says anatomy is divided into two, and let's look at the two divisions of anatomy. So, not anatomy is divided into two as follows. One, or the first division of anatomy is called microanatomy. And microanatomy is defined as this is the study of the forms and structures of living things that cannot be seen by the naked eyes. So we have some other forms and then the structures of living things that cannot be seen by the naked eyes. Those forms and structures of living things that cannot be seen by the naked eyes, we study them under microanatomy. Then the second one is macroanatomy. Then macroanatomy is defined as this is the study of the forms and structures. Study of the forms and structures of living things the study of the forms and structures of living things that can be seen by the naked eyes. So in macro anatomy, we study the forms and structures of living things that can be seen by the naked eyes. Like for example, if we study like bats, then we look at the features of the bats. Then the parts of the structures that are on the body of the bats, like the wings, we have the beak, we have the legs. These structures we can see using our own naked eyes. But when it is in microbiology, when we study things like the amoeba has structures that it uses for movement, like the pseudopoda. The pseudopoda, these are structures that we cannot see using our own naked eyes. Even alone, the amoeba, we may not be able to see it using our own naked eyes because it's a very small living organism. So in most cases, in microanatomy, we use things like microscopes. While here, we can just study using our own naked eyes. So these are the two divisions of anatomy. Now let's look at the third branch of biology on the basis of subject matter, that is physiology. Now, there is one point that we have to understand, to note very clear when you look at the definition of physiology and then you compare it to definition of anatomy. So physiology here is defined as a branch of biology which studies the functions of the forms and structures of living things. So we have only a very small difference in the two definitions. In anatomy, we say it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of the forms and structures of living things. But when it comes to physiology, we have the word function that has been included. So physiology becomes the branch of biology which study the functions of the forms and structures of living things. So in physiology now, we study the functions of those forms and structures of living things that we study in anatomy. So physiology is the third branch of biology on the basis of subject matter. Now let's look at the fourth branch of biology on the basis of subject matter. Now, the fourth branch of biology on the basis of subject matter is genetics. Write them in the same form, that is genetics. Now, we define genetics as it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of resemblance resemblance, we have differences, and heredity. In living things. So in genetics, here we study three main things. We study first resemblance, how living organisms of the same species resembles each other. This resemblance comes from the inheritance from parents to the offspring, how the offspring resembles the parents, and even how the parents resembles their parents. And then we also study differences, because in species, not all members of the same species can be the same. They have certain differences among themselves. So we study those differences and then the factors that are responsible for those differences. And then here we also study heredity, or in other words, we say inheritance, how these organisms are being inherited from their parents, and then how even they inherit some of their characteristics from their parents. All this we study under genetics. Now let's look at the fifth one. The fifth one is ecology. The fifth one is ecology. Now ecology is a branch. Ecology is a branch of biology which studies the way how living things interact, the way how living things interact with each other and the other factors, how living things interact with each other and the other factors of their natural environment. So in ecology, here we study the way how living things interact with each other, or how the way how living things interact among themselves and the other factors of their natural environment. Here we have very many groups of living things. Like mainly we can talk some few, that is we can mention some few, that is plants and animals. How plants interact with animals, and then how they even interact with the environment or the other factors of the environment where they live. That is in ecology. Now the next one is, that is the sixth, that is the sixth one. Here we have another branch of biology that we study under this group, under the basis of organisms. Another branch of biology that we study as the sixth here, under the basis of subject matter. But now let's look at the sixth branch of biology on the basis of subject matter. Now this branch is called taxonomy. Taxonomy. And then taxonomy is defined as, this is the study of naming, identification, and classification of living things in biology. So taxonomy becomes the study of naming, identification, and classification of living things in biology. Or in other words, we can say it's also a branch of biology which deals with the study of naming, identification, and classification of living things. Now, the seventh branch of biology on the basis of subject matter is what we call paleontology. The seventh branch, this number 7, is paleontology. Now, paleontology is defined as this is a branch of biology which deals with the study of ancient forms and structures of living things. Now, paleontology is a branch of biology which deals with the study of the ancient forms and structures of living things. You note here in paleontology, these forms, these ancient forms and structures of living things are in form of fossils. So we study them in paleontology, or a branch of biology on the basis of subject matter known as paleontology. Then finally, the 8th one is evolution. Now evolution here becomes, this is the branch of biology which deals with the study of the gradual changes in forms and structures of living things over a period of time. Now, in evolution, it is a branch of biology which deals with the study of the gradual changes in the forms and structures of living things over a period of times. Always in life, living things, there are those changes that happens in them, and then these changes happens gradually. When we say gradually, that takes place slowly and over a long period of times, leading to different structures developing, or even shapes that develops in the living things. Some of these changes are due to the conditions of environments, or some of them are genetically as a result of certain processes like mutation, among others. So when we study the gradual changes in forms and structures of living things over a period of time, then we are dealing with the branch of biology called evolution. So these are the main main branches of biology under the branches of biology on the basis of subject matter. Remember, here we looked at microbiology, we looked at anatomy, and then we looked at the two divisions of anatomy, that is microanatomy and then macroanatomy. Also, we looked at physiology, which is study the functions of the forms and then the structures of living things, which are being studied in anatomy. Then also we looked at genetics, which we said is the branch of biology that deals with the study of resemblance. We have differences and heredity in living things. And then we also looked at ecology, which is a branch of biology, and then it deals with the study of the way how living things interact among themselves or interact with each other, and then the other factors of their natural environment. We also looked at taxonomy, where we say it is the study of naming, identification, and classification of living things in biology. So it's also one of the branches of biology on the basis of subject matter. Then the seventh branch that we looked at is paleontology. And we define paleontology as a branch of biology which deals with the study of the ancient forms and structures of living things. Then we say we need to note always one important thing when we are studying paleontology. In paleontology, the ancient forms and structures of the living things, they are being kept in form of fossils. Then finally, we looked at evolution, which is one of the branches of biology on the basis of subject matter. And then it is defined as a branch of biology which deals with the study of the gradual changes in forms and structures of living things over a period of time. So this has been a lesson on introduction to biology and for a senior 1 class. I've been your teacher, Kenny George Julius. Thanks for being part of the lesson.